Welcome back. Hitherto in communication, we had dwelt with verbal communication. What are the advantages of verbal communication and the skills which are required to be used in the mediation by the mediator? In this session, we'll deal with the nonverbal communication, more particularly body language and expressions. Body language and expressions made by all of us. Let us try to understand as to what are the expressions which you usually doing. I need not repeat it, it is already on your screen. Shoulder hunched, standing with hands on the hips, hands tied to the front or to the back, tapping knuckles, stroking chin. We constantly do it. Looking at the watch, always watching the door, smiling to myself. Of course, crying is also an expression. Arms crossed on chest, locked behind, hands on side. We have a graphic with a smiling face, some gesture being used. Somebody who is now very tense through the lips, it's being expressed. Why is this relevant in mediation? Body language is relevant from three aspects. One, from the point of view of the mediator, how he sits, how he presents himself, how he is able to communicate with the parties, how does he express it through his body language, the manner he sits, whether he is sitting to the center of the table or to a side, leaning to one party, or in a not in equidistance and is close to other party. It conveys a message to the parties. So therefore, mediator, being a neutral third party, has to maintain his own body language to express that he is also neutral. Verbal expression of neutrality is one aspect. Non-verbal expression is also another aspect. Mediator has to give an impression to the parties that he is neutral and third party, and he is not doing any partisan to any of the parties. Any amount of repeated verbal expression saying that I am neutral may not convey effectively. Whereas his body language, his manner of sitting, his hands, his fingers, while he is keeping on the table of the mediation room, all that matters. This is one side of it. Similarly, parties. One party is seeing the other party making the statement. Mediator is also observing that party. And it could be sometimes that many of the messages, verbal messages, are not conveyed clearly, expressed clearly, but it is conveyed by gestures and body language by the same party, which also has to be seen by the mediator, observed by the mediator. Therefore, we showed the graphic which shows some of the expressions made by the parties, maybe not expressed verbally, expressed through the body language. They may be speaking, but tense-lipped, lips very tense. They may be requiring water now and then, which means they are some sort of panic they are in. So these are all very important for the mediator too. One, while he is exhibiting his mannerisms, he is also observing the mannerism of each of the party. Sometimes a statement is made by a party which is not acceptable to the party B who is sitting on the front, he expresses that displeasure in a way. Though mediator is observing party A most of the time, he should also keep a watch on party B to see how does it take that, how does it respond to it. So it could be that body language is to be understood from all these contexts. Sometimes we have the habit of nodding our head. Nodding of head means sometimes it could be yes. Sometimes nodding of the head from right to left, it could mean no. But it is not standard expressions anywhere. It is just understood by us that yes means this, no means this. So all these are body languages which has to be kept in mind by the mediator to get what is not conveyed, what is not expressed directly, but expressed through the gestures. So these are very important aspects which we have to keep in mind while the mediator is on the job. And that also helps the mediator to understand the emotion, the fear, the anxiety which the party would be going through. And that would help him to get the perception of the party as to what he is looking at. Sometimes the parties will be looking at the eyes of the other party or the mediator. Sometimes they may not be looking at the eye at all. This also would convey something. So these are all very important gestures which we have to keep in mind as mediators. Now we'll come to the another aspect which is also very important, namely perception, drishtikon. On an issue, I have my own view. That is the drishtikon. In mediation also it matters. I think that my view is the only view possible. That is my drishtikon, my perception. But when we have the opposite parties sitting and the mediator facilitates both the parties to express freely, clearly, we get to know the other view possible on the same issue from the other party. That is his perception. So mediation allows the parties to give their perception. It allows the parties to understand the perception of the other side. When party A gets to know the perception of the other side, he gets to know that there are two sides possible to the same issue, two views possible to the same issue. That makes him to understand that mine is not the only way, mine is not the only view. Here is a good example which is there before you as a graphic. Digit 6, numerical 6. One sees as 6, whereas the other side sees is at 9. It all depends from where you are standing and from where you are watching. This is very common in mediation. When A understands B's perception, B understands A's perception, most of the conflicts are understood and realized, and they start understanding, okay, this could be the reason why he behaved that way. This is the reason why he has reacted that way. We'll have another one. This is a very common one which we all use. Is it half empty or half full? Depends on how you interpret it, how you see it yourself. See this graphic now again. What is it? You guess it. It could be two human beings, or it could be some pawn in a chess. It could be anything. It all depends on how you see it. So to sum up, body language is important in mediation, and it helps the mediator in particular to assess the parties, their expressions, and their requirement in the mediation. Secondly, perceptions do matter in mediation. Understanding the perception helps the parties as also the mediator to know what was their view, what was their drishtikon. Thank you.